Part of her wished she hadn't invited him along, but she'd had no real choice if she wanted to solve this case quickly and safely. When Grand Teton slipped from the view, she shifted away from the window, hoping he would put space between them instead of leaning over her. "Do you want to review what we have so far?" she asked. "I think JT is thorough, which I would expect considering the success he's had in solving the obscure. As thorough as the FBI and local police in Texas had been, I can see where they could have done more. But hindsight is 20/20, they say. I'm not sure that normal genealogical techniques are going to help much. It's not like I'm trying to find the history of her ancestry or build her family tree, but then that's why Caitlin approached Anderson Consulting." His gunmetal gray gaze held hers. If JT thought he could do this, there must be a reason. Just trust your instincts, Willow. I can tell you have his gift. He wouldn't have bothered pouring so much into you if he didn't believe that. The compliment boosted her. I guess we'll find out. Tell me how you typically handle a case. Let's say Caitlin hired you to find an ancestor she couldn't find. Normally, we would start with Caitlin's full name. Caitlin Jacoby Mason. We'd take her name and start with birth, death, marriage, and military records, then tax documents, court deeds, and other legal records, census records, public directories, school records, newspaper archives. That's not an exhaustive list, she grinned. Sounds like a lot of work. She nodded. You find a lot of extraneous but interesting information, too. JT found out who had murdered someone's great-grandfather through the newspaper archives. So, in effect, he solved a very cold case. Let's call that a frozen case. Willow chuckled. Nowadays, though, there's so much information available online, much of which we would have had to do in person before. Still, even today, we might travel to Salt Lake City to look at the family history library. Add to all of that, now we can use DNA as a search tool. Caitlin already gave her DNA to JT for analysis, but that can take weeks. It's worth a shot in case Jamie's DNA shows up on a database somewhere, law enforcement or various genealogy databases. She might have suspected something about herself and taken a test. Detailing the process to Austin left her overwhelmed. Squeezing her eyes shut, she pressed her head against the seat back as the plane began to land. God, I don't know what I'm doing. When the jet touched the runway, she opened her eyes. Austin rubbed his jaw. In this case, I'm not sure it matters what we know about Caitlin. We're looking for Jamie's abductor, a random stranger. Law enforcement already looked at everyone close to Caitlin, including her late brother Shane and Cliff's brother-in-law, John Hauser. I'm not ready to give up on the possibility of a connection. That it wasn't random. On the other hand, maybe we can't find Jamie, and it's a mistake to even try. We won't know unless we see this through. We have a thread. Amusement danced in his eyes. A small thrill shot through her. Focus, Willow. Yes, the Wyoming Silversmith Company. I'm not sure what to ask them. They might not tell us anything. Why were you really going to Wyoming, JT? She sensed that there was something more. Didn't you tell me JT said that in following the threads, other doors will open? That's why we're going. We can walk in a direction and hope it will lead us somewhere. When I was in the FBI, I learned to canvass a neighborhood. Just get out there and walk door to door to meet the neighbors. You'd be surprised what talking to people reveals. That's how you learned about the neighbor who took the video of JT's so-called accident. Could she ever think about that without getting a lump in her throat? I know you're right. I've spent hours talking to people, listening to their family stories that usually results in revealing things previously hidden.